Hi, I'm Susan, VP of Marketing, Business Development and Customer Experience of Aspirations. Thank you for joining us in our Homegrown with Digital Age Leadership Sharing Series. Today, I'm very glad to have Jonathan, the Head of Transformation Program Office in Singapore Pools with us. He will share with us some of the key challenges that faced by large retail chain like them in Singapore.
Thank you, Susan, for inviting me.
Alright, so maybe you would like to share a little bit about yourself?
I head the Transformation Program Office in Singapore Pools for the last 2 years. It has been a very exciting journey with 3 portfolios. The first one is actually the Project Execution Office, which is responsible for delivering the big scale projects that we have. The second responsibility is more on the capabilities governance. What are the initiatives that we should be building in the next 12 to 18 months. And the last is, of course, the most exciting one, the Transformation Office, which is supposed to provide the brain power and the innovations, to what are the new stuffs that we can actually look at.
Wow, that's a very interesting role. I know that most of us know Singapore Pools, but maybe you would like to give us a little bit more on the background of Singapore Pools.
Yes, I think Singapore Pools is more commonly known as a lottery company. But what is less known is our main primary objective of combating illegals. That is to actually avoid the monies going to illegals, but channeling towards good and charitable causes. So, just a simple fact, for every dollar that's actually contributed, 27 cents actually goes back towards taxes as well as charities and communities. If you talk of our ex-National Stadium, Esplanade, Gardens by the Bay, I think these are all monies that actually funded through our revenue.
So what's your view on digitalization? So what is the digital strategy that Singapore Pools is adopting?
Since our transformation journey started in 2018, we sort of embarked on a 5-year roadmap, in terms of looking into various areas. Primarily is to actually looking at the core of the business. That means the engine itself. How do we establish a digital operation backbone? And then from there, how do we actually create new digital offerings, which we had our SPA account, which is our Singapore Pools app, in 2019 itself. And also, most recently, really looking at refreshing some of our critical systems. So these will help us to actually create the foundation for us to rapidly create new value proposition for the customer.
So what spurs this drive for Singapore Pool to adopt this go digital kind of mission?
So when the whole world moves to digital, actually we do expect that even the illegals are becoming more savvy. And I think from a Singpool standpoint, it is important that we are on par, in terms of creating that very simple customer journey. It makes it simple, it makes it attractive for the customer to say that, hey, I do want to continue to stay with Singapore Pools.
Right. So I also understand from you that Singapore Pool, in fact, has a very important mission. That is to contribute back to the society through the charity organization. So maybe we'd like to share with us, how charity organization leverage on tech to improve the way they work, as well as how they interact within the organizations, as well as to improve the operation efficiency as well.
All right. So we had this program called iShine, which actually creates the infrastructure as well as the technology offering for charity players. What it means is that charities no longer have to invest heavily on technology, back-end infrastructure, servers and stuff. And to them, they can then really focus on serving the charities that need. On the other hand, Singpools ourselves also have invested in new technology. For example, we have the volunteer management system, which is owned by us, which in a way allows our customers to be able to participate in volunteer activities through Singapore Pools.
I see. So besides this, so what other digital initiatives that you can see that's happening in the other part of the organization?
Currently, we are in the progress of enabling capabilities like MyInfo, SingPass for onboarding to Singapore Pools app. We are also creating new value propositions, to target at specific segments as well as customer journeys. And one of the biggest big things that we are currently also looking at is in terms of revamping the UI UX, user experience, and user interface. I think a lot of organizations, particularly commercial organizations, have embarked on this journey some years back in terms of creating simplicity.
So you mentioned about customer experience. So besides on the digital front end, how about at the branch? I noticed that you all also have many branches. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So is there any things that leverage on tech to improve the customer experience as
Definitely. When we look at our customers, the traditional view has been these are retail customers and there's the remote customers. Remote customers saying, pointing to those who use the app. But we realize that we can't really define customers as such because today customers move between remote and retail. If I am a remote customer, when I go to the branch, Singapore Pools still know it is me at the branch. And how do I create that seamless omni-channel experience? So we are really exploring how do we leverage on technology to augment or re-engineer the customer's journey. Having self-service options, having capabilities where you are able to tell whether the customer is within the branch itself. It could be for ticket checking, price claiming, or even transaction services. We're also considering bringing in the charity portion into the branch itself. And customers who are at the branches have the option of knowing, through information sharing or even participating. Like for example, signing up as one of our volunteers. So this would actually create a more holistic omni-channel experience for our customer.
So what are the tech that you think that you have already adopted in improving or rather giving this kind of omni-channel kind of experience?
If you are looking at really implementing things that are agile, I think this is going to be one of the challenges. Leveraging on technologies like edge processing, edge cloud, this will help us to be more agile, nimble. In a way, whenever branches move, we don't need to do heavy investments on, moving all the tech together with it, and as well as focusing on things like video analytics. But this will help us to be less reliant on the staff on the ground.
Wow. Okay. So I also noticed that Singapore Pools is quite big in tech and also digital exploration. So would you like to share with us a little bit on how internally, how do you all support this? Okay.
We do have an innovation function, and I think happy to actually share that I think we have sort of grown from a small team of people to large-scale events. In fact, we just ended our first hackathon this year, in which actually 15 teams actually come up with very good ideas, which ended in 8 finalists. In fact, I think most of the ideas, not just the 8, but almost all the 15s were sort of in the process of being incorporated into various projects.
So maybe you would like to name a few of such projects that's already implemented and your customers or your co-workers are already enjoying?
I think during the COVID, we were actually one of the first to integrate facial recognition into our entry points. So with the scan of a face, actually what happens is you have checked in, you have taken your temperature, you have been registered and checked in with safe entry, and with that all done without actually taking the pass out from your bag.
So you shortcut everything and simplify the process. Okay, so is there any words of wisdom for our audience and those who are in the business like yours?
I think it's important to really spend time planning and really looking into both the customer value proposition as well as where the organization is. Most organizations sort of sometimes forget about the operations as a whole and then start building capabilities. But then you reach a point whereby you realize that the back end can't catch up. So for Singapore Pools, we take a two-pronged approach. While creating new value proposition for customers, we are also looking at digitizing the back end. So we have got things like robotics, workflow systems, tools that our own staff can learn and pick up, and that helps to sort of spread the work done on digitalization.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. I'm very glad to have you with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.